morning to one and all, and welcome back to online education channel by BMC. This is Vaijayanti Patil from Turve MPS. Today we are going to deal with the last part of Introduction to Biotechnology, that is agrotourism and animal husbandry. Talking about agrotourism. Agro means agriculture and tourism are the tourist activity. A farmer having a sufficient piece of land can carry out extra activity along with the agricultural activity to increase his profit. He can invite the outsiders to visit his land, provide the information of all the activities going out on the farm, and provide the staying facilities, food, and some other refreshment activities for the visitors, through which if sufficient land is available, agrotourism is an emerging field and provides good business opportunity to the farmer. Farmer can also develop a nursery in which he can provide plantlets of different plants like medicinal plants, ornamental plants, vegetable plants, fruit seeds or fruit trees, which can be buy by the visitors. Along with the activities, the farmer can earn good chunks, and by growing some of the plant fully, a self-sufficient agrotourism centers can be developed. In the agrotourism, a farmer can develop an integrated farm. Now, what is meaning of integrated farm? Along with growing the crop plants, farmer can conduct other activities on same piece of land, which will help him improve his earning. Now, what are these activities? He can plant some field crops, vegetables, fruit cultivation, poultry farm, livestock, duckery, aquaculture, that is rearing of fishes, agroforestry, that is growing the forest trees like teak, and that can also be used for lightening up the farmland. So this is how, if a farmer plans integrated farm management, he can improve his income through these processes. Second part of today's lecture is animal husbandry. Now what is animal husbandry? Rearing or growing up the animals in the farmland is known as animal husbandry. Children, you must have heard that song, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. On that farm he had some chickens and also the other animals. So that is the animal husbandry. It includes the rearing of animals like cattle. Cattle means growing the cows, buffaloes, ox is included in cattle. Goat farming, sheep farming, pig farming and rabbit farming. Nowadays emu farming, ostrich farming is also very trendy. People are also going on in this field. So what is animal husbandry? Animal husbandry is a branch of science that deals with practicing of breeding, farming and care of farm animals such as cattle, dogs, sheep, horses by human for advantages. Animal husbandry refers to livestock raising and selective breeding. Now what is selective breeding? See, there are so many varieties of cattle or so many varieties of other animals. The best breed out of those in India, animal husbandry is practiced for milk production and for using the cattle as help in farming operations. Example, cows and buffaloes are raised for milk and bulls and male buffaloes for pulling the heavy loads. Now, in animal husbandry, there are different varieties of cattle. As I said, for selective breeding, best variety is selected. Now what are these varieties? Here we rear different varieties which are local to Indian, that is Indian varieties. They are Sahiwal. This is how the Sahiwal cow looks. Then Sindhi. This is the Sindhi cow. Gir. This is how the Gir look. See, the looks of all the varieties are different from each other. The horn pattern, the pattern of their hump is different. Their length, their size, these all are different. So they are the different varieties. Even their milking quality, quantity of the milk, quality of the milk also differs from cattle to cattle. Then you have Lal Kandari, Devani and Khillari. Khillari, the ox are very strong and they are used by the farmer for pulling the heavy loads. Whereas Sahiwal and Gir, these are very good milk yielding varieties. During the milk revolution, the exotic varieties, that is the foreign varieties, were introduced in Indian farmland. Let us study the exotic varieties. They are Jersey. This is how the Jersey cow looks. Brown Swiss. This is the Brown Swiss. And Holstein. This is the Holstein. Now, Talking about management of dairy farm. Management means how to take care of a dairy farm. What all a farmer has to look after so that he can earn good profits. First comes the shade for the cattle. Yes, the place where the cattle live is very important. It has to be well light. It has to be well ventilated. There should be enough open space for air to get in so that the cattle get fresh air. Then it has to be cleaned on regular basis so that the cattle do not get any kind of infection. Next comes healthy and balanced fodder. When we need a healthy, a good quality and good quantity of milk, the farmer has to feed cow or the cattle with best healthy fodder so that the cow or the cattle stay healthy and gives good quantity of milk, quantity as well as quality. Regular cleaning of cattle is also important because if they are not cleaned regularly, they are prone to catch some infectious diseases. Hence, regular cleaning of cattle is also essential. At the end is vaccination of the cattle. Yes, the way we humans are vaccinated to protect us from different types of diseases, even cattle are vaccinated for different kind of infectious diseases so that if the cattle is infected, the disease can spread very rapidly in the entire cattle shed, as well as the milk which, if that is marketed, which is infected with the disease, it can also cause disease in the human being. So a proper care for the cattle has to be taken and they have to be vaccinated on a regular basis. For this purpose, a special doctor who looks after the animal is regularly visiting the farms, and he is known as the vet or the veterinarian doctor who looks after the vaccination schedule of the cattle. White Revolution. What is White Revolution? It is also known as Operation Flood in India. White Revolution is associated with increase in the milk production in our country, and due to White Revolution, the production of milk has really increased a lot in India. It was intended to make India a self-dependent nation in milk production, and due to this White Revolution, today India is the largest producer of milk. Person behind this White Revolution, or the perspective of White Revolution, is Dr. Verghese Kurian, who is also known as Milkman of India. He is also known as father of White Revolution in India. He developed new varieties by selective breeding of Indian and the exotic variety, which can yield good quality as well as quantity of milk. Due to this, a lot of production of milk is carried out in the village areas, and he also started with the cooperative societies for milk, through which the milk is collected from the small animal husbandry farms and then it is processed and marketed. Next is poultry farming. As you can see the picture, poultry farming is related to rearing the hens. Now, why do we rear hens or why do we grow hens? We rear hens for the eggs and the meat. I know the vegetarian children really enjoy eating eggs and the meat of the chicken. Yes, eating egg is also healthy and meat is a good source of protein. Again, there are two different major varieties of chicken. One is the layer. Now what is layer? The hens which are reared for their eggs. They lay eggs in good quantity. They are known as layers. Some of the example of good layer chickens are Leghorn, Minorca, Ancona, Lehman. Whereas in case of boilers, boilers are the chicken that are raised for their meat. Example of best meat providing boilers are Brahma, Long, Cochin and Asil. These are the Indian varieties. We also use exotic varieties like Rhode Island Red, New Hampshire, Plymouth Rock, Black Rock. These are the exotic varieties that are reared for eggs as well as meat. Student, I would like you to take the screenshot of this. Now, you need to learn the names, at least 2 names out of this, because you might get a question of name the varieties of layers or varieties of boilers. Same with the cattle, you also need to learn the names of cattle. You may get the question for 1 mark. Now, what is the objective behind the poultry farm? First is to produce good quality chicken in large number. Second is to develop ability in the chickens to withstand high temperature. And third is to use products of agriculture as a poultry feed. As I said you, in the integrated farming, waste of agriculture or the byproducts of agriculture is used as a feed for the livestock. Okay. Now, poultry management. Again, management means how to manage a poultry farm, how to take care of a poultry farm so that good profit can be earned by the farmer through whatever size of farm he is having. First and the most important thing is the shade for the birds. Yes, the shade of the birds, that is chicken, needs to be clean, well ventilated and well lighted. The source of light has to be good. Proper lights in the shelter is needed. The cattle should be provided, or the birds should be provided clean water for drinking and a balanced fodder so that they can yield good protein in their meat as well as in the eggs. And if the clean food is not provided, the birds are also prone to catch infectious diseases, which is again harmful for the farmer. We know when there was bird flu, many of the poultry farmers have to burn their chickens, because if even one bird is infected, it soon spread into the entire farm, and there is also chance of infection in the humans through these birds. So a proper management of farm is very, very essential. The third thing that a farmer needs to look after is collection of the eggs. farmer. And last but not the least is vaccination of this bird. It is very important to vaccinate the birds with the common infectious diseases like influenza, swine, bird flu and all, so that less chances of infection in the farm as well as infection from the birds to the human is to be avoided. For that, a veterinarian doctor has to be called on timely vaccine for the timely vaccination. The last concept is sericulture. Now, what is sericulture? Rearing of silkworms for production of silk is called sericulture. See, these are the silk moths. The larvae of this moth are reared so that the silk can be yielded out of this, which is then utilized for processing of different types of silk cloths. Let us look into this sericulture. It is very important for a sericulture to understand the life cycle of the silkworm. Life cycle of silkworm composed of 4 stages. Okay, egg, larvae, cocoon and then the moth. Okay, let us look into it. See, here there are step by step. The adult lays egg which hatches into the larvae. The larvae feed on the leaves of the plant. They grow big in the size and then they develop the cocoon around them. Let us study this in detail. This is the adult moth laying eggs on the plant. Now, in India, Bombyx mori is the variety of silk moth that is reared for the purpose of sericulture. Remember this. You might get this for fill in the blanks or answer in one sentence or even match the following. For sericulture, Bombyx mori is a commonly used variety of silk moths in India. Okay. Now, the life cycle consists of 4 stages, as I said. The egg, the larva, the pupa and the adult. The adult lays thousands of eggs on the leaves. Then they are incubated for a shorter period of time in the incubation. Then as the egg hatches, the larva hatches out of the egg, they are released on the mulberry plant. Remember, the silk moth larvae is feed on mulberry plant, as you can see over here, leaves of the mulberry. The larvae grow in size when they feed on the mulberry, and they are voracious eaters. They are voracious eater. Voracious eater means they continuously keep on eating and eating and eating until they grow to the complete size. Once they grow to the complete size, that is after feeding for 3 to 4 days, the larvae move to the branches of the mulberry plant, where they start secreting the saliva. They start secreting the silk thread through the salivary gland. Now, how is this done? I will show you. See, here is the larvae which is trying to build a cocoon. From the salivary gland of this larvae, these threads are released, which are actually the silk threads. Now, this larvae will cover itself entirely by this silk. Okay, then after covering you get this stage which is known as cocoon. See, you can see the larvae that is moving inside this cocoon. Once the cocoon is completely formed, the larvae will go for a deep sleep. In that deep sleep, it is getting modified from the larvae into the adult, from this stage to this stage. Now, it takes around 16 days for a larvae to get converted into the adult. But for a farmer who is rearing silk moth for the silk, he will not allow larvae to get converted into adult. Before the larvae hatches out of the pupa, before the adult hatches out of the pupa, the farmer collects all the cocoons and put it in the boiling water. Yes, the larvae are killed, the pupas are killed. Why? Because when the larvae or when the adult try to come out from this cocoon, they secrete the acids. This acid will destroy the silk thread. As the farmer wants to earn the profit by selling the silk thread, he cannot allow the silk thread to damage. Hence, before the larva is converted into the adult, before the pupa is converted into the adult, the farmer collects all the cocoon and put it in the boiling water. Due to the boiling water, the pupa dies and the farmer collects the empty cocoons and send it for the processing of silk threads, which are then used for weaving the fabric. So this is the end. What we have studied in today's lecture is first agrotourism. Agrotourism is conducting the tourist activities along with the agricultural production. A farmer having sufficient land piece can invite the outsiders and arrange the stay, the food and the agricultural activities for the visitors, where visitors can enjoy the entire day on the farm, enjoy the farm fresh food in the farm, and also gain the knowledge of the crops that are grown and the processes how the crops or the life. Second, we have studied about the animal husbandry. In this, we have studied about the dairy farm. What is dairy farm? Dairy farm is rearing the cattle for milk. We have seen about white revolution, through which India is now the largest milk producer in the world, and it is due to the cooperative movement through which the farmers are earning good amount of money through the dairy farms. We have also studied about the management of the dairy farm, in which the farmer needs third concept that we have learned is the poultry farm. Now what is poultry farm? Rearing of hens for eggs and meat is known as poultry. In poultry, we have studied there are two types of chickens. The one which are reared for their eggs, they are known as layers. Examples are Leghorn, Minorca, Acorna and Layman. Whereas boilers are the chickens which are reared for their meat. Examples are Brahma, Long, Cochin and Ashil. In poultry farm also we have studied about poultry management, where a farmer needs to look after the shade for the birds, provide clean water and healthy balanced food so that he can get good quality as well as quantity of egg and the meat. He also has to look after vaccination of the bird so that the infection disease can be prevented among the birds, because there is also a danger of spreading these diseases from these birds to the sericulture. Means rearing the silkworms, the silk moth for obtaining silk threads. In this we have studied life cycle of the silk moth. We have studied in India, Bombyx mori is the main variety of the silk moth that is being reared for sericulture purpose. Life cycle includes 4 stages: eggs, larvae, pupa and adult. The adult lays thousands of eggs on the plants, out of which the hatches the larvae. Larvae are voracious feeders. They continuously eat the leaves of mulberry tree. Bombyx mori feeds on mulberry leaves. After gaining, that is after feeding for 3 to 4 days, they acquire a full size and they move towards the branches of the tree, where they start secreting a special thread through their salivary gland. With the help of this thread, they develop a cocoon around themselves. Once the cocoon is developed and before the pupa hatches into the adult, the farmer transfers the cocoon into the boiling water. Reason behind this, because once the adult is completely developed, it will start secreting the acids which will damage the silk thread and the farmers cannot gain good profit. So as soon as the pupa develops the cocoon, he will transfer the cocoon into the boiling water. The pupa is killed and the thread is collected and processed to develop silk thread for weaving the silk fabric. So this is all about the agrotourism and animal husbandry part. Hope you all have understood the concepts very well. Now let us look into the assignment part. First question is, what is sericulture? Silkworms are reared for production of silk. This is called sericulture. Which breed is used? In India, Bombyx mori is used for purpose of sericulture. Write a note on agro-complementary businesses. What is meaning of agro-complementary? Agro meaning agricultural activity, that is growing the crop, and complementary means along with the agricultural activity, what else the farmers can carry out. They are known as agro-complementary business. Okay. So, agro-complementary business refers to complementary goods or services that is used in conjunction with agriculture. Examples are animal husbandry, poultry farming, sericulture. Animal husbandry is practiced for production of milk and using cattle for the purpose of farming. Poultry farming is done for rearing of eggs and meat. Sericulture is done for rearing of silk. As well as agro-tourism activities can be conducted so that farmer can earn good profit, good business along with his agriculture. Next is the give reason. Why are cocoons transferred to the boiling water before the pupa develops into adult? It takes 16 days for silkworm to become a moth. However, for the moth to break through the cocoon, it emits the acids to break through the cocoon. This acid is destructive and it changes the color of silk. So, silk farmer take the fully constructed cocoon and throw them in the hot water to kill the moth. The silk is saved but the moth dies. This is all about the assignment. I would request you all to take a screenshot of this so that you can complete these answers of the assignment in your book. Thank you.